Book of burning, book of action, book of black and blue streets. Look it up, I'll hook you up, a book about the news. Me, you are too real. You can't say fuck, cunt, shit, and you can't say bitch, cock, tits. No, you can't say buy your girl or I'm conservative on this. You're free to speak as long as what you say agrees with me. To speak in all the words we say are mandatory. Well, we'll never talk of double shifts or overtime. That's what white men try, and we've decided it's war crimes. It's your time. You're free to speak just as and when we want apologies. Well, we need a jail to throw all of the telephones that ever heard two blokes tell off the color jokes before night. It's so right. You're free to speak in our diversified by number scheme. To speak in tightly held surrenders on repeat. You can't say rioters or looters or pedophiles or groomers. We refer to those as undocumented suitors and snow dykes. That's not just bad things. You're free to hate, but certain terms are hangable mistakes. I shall not say I, shall not say, shall not say no, when I can call you the old right. Or unfactored term of hate. The boss will tell us what is bossiness and what is not. You're free to speak if it's to serve the best economy. Free to speak provided you'll fulfill the prophecy. So eat buckwheat, you fucking scourge of every comedy. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from my wonderful country's demise. No way to laugh or smile, and I don't have my license to cry.
And so you're trying to tell me that it was after all of that copious fluid loss that the nurse asked you, "Are you married?"
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, maybe she had a thing for fluids. She had a thing for fluids. I don't know.
Did you take her home?
No, did I? No. I was so delirious and shit. You know how smooth it is when you're slipping in your own fucking mucus trying to get home, like get out of the hospital. It's not sexy.
Strangely, yes. Oh. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Jeff was in the hospital recently because he decided to treat a nasty head infection with whiskey. Now, while that may sound like something that I would do, I've already done it, and I knew better. But Jeff decided he'd learn the hard way, so he's with us tonight in his monkey onesie.
I need to feel comforted. My half of my head is full of pus right now. That's also why I'm not letting you see my ear, because it's fucking gross.
Yeah, so he's joined us from halfway from the other side after a couple of days. Now, if you watched midweek, you'll know he did pretty well. You made it through. You definitely made it through. You definitely kept the show going in different directions, but you kept it going.
I don't remember doing that show at all, honestly.
Now we're on the same level about some of our shows, aren't we? Yeah. Well, we have a pretty excellent show tossed together at the last moment, as we know you like it. This is your Szechuan stir fry for $3 at 3 a.m. of wonderful YouTube streams, and I'm hoping that not too many. Looks like a good portion have been drawn off by what I assume is either E3 or burnout from streams today. But nevertheless, nothing will deter us. Nothing will deter us.
Format demands our obedience. Otherwise, I'd be laying my ass down, man. I'm feeling all fucked up. But it's a show. It's a show. And we always do the show. We're always gonna do the show. Big thanks to Franman781, by the way, for the new animations, the curtain animations. I think they look fucking amazing. Super cool.
Yeah.
I don't think you've even seen them yet, Nick, have you?
I think those aren't the ones you were previewing before?
Did you see him where they like drops down, they swing, and then they back up and back up? Yeah, super cool, man.
Yeah, you can't put a price on talent like that, or at least I'm glad no price is put on it because they are pretty boss.
Not
And
so far.
they're gonna be some serious wannabe late night contenders, just hating on us for our stage cloth.
That's too true.
Yep.
Too true. I have no idea what the fuck that even means.
I'm sure we'll come to it in time.
Oh, and I just realized our friend Hannah was actually using our old Streamlabs link, or our Streamlabs link for this show on last Thursday. So we didn't see him until today. But I guess I'll read those. Hannah said last Thursday, "I love you, daddies," and also, "What do I have to do to get a dab?" But also today, "Can I get a motherfucking dab, please? I love you all. But Dr. Randomercam sucks dick." Just kidding. I don't know if he does. He's a handsome dude.
Yeah, and the only place I know to get dabs are there. You go. You got a gorilla dab. That's a screenshot. That'll never happen to me. My daughter actually tortures me with those things. Nah, Quinn will actually torture me with those sometimes. She'll be like, we'll be in the supermarket. She'll be like, "I'm bored," and I'll be like, "Well, it's a line," and she'll be like, "Dad," and she'll just start dabbing. Like, stop. Do you even know what that is? I swear to Christ, if she starts T-posing, I'm putting her in a nunnery. Yeah.
You're anti-dab?
You know what it is? I just don't want to see my child doing it after seeing the Paul brothers do it so often.
But you got such a dab bod.
Still, there's still so much room there because I don't have that gut, boy. I worked that shit off. I worked that shit off through honest depression and alcoholism. And while I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, as a weight loss strategy, it can work. It can. Yeah.
JSC Hong, within a Lovecraft, the creeper beneath. Advice. Writing a Lovecraft story, the creeper beneath. Advice. Yes, make sure that when they detonate, they're in water, otherwise they will destroy the surrounding blocks.
What? Did you just experience some kind of aphasia there? I think it was probably shot towards me. I didn't catch that.
Big Mike says, "I had a pretty boss once. Her name was Shannon." That's cool. I've had a few pretty bosses. A few. My advice, and I'm guessing it's a question reference off my video today. My advice would be don't read any Lovecraft until you're finished writing it. Yeah, don't do that. Because you will end up writing a Lovecraft clone that is an obvious Lovecraft clone rather than you writing something that is inspired. Yeah, it's difficult. It's hard enough trying to be, like, original without, like, inadvertently, and not even knowing that you're doing it, not even realizing that you're doing it, like, writing something that is very, very similar to something that you yourself are really passionate about and you love a whole lot. So, if you can manage it. I mean, just on a quick note, I know we're going to stream about this later in the week, but I'll say that in a certain way, there is a way in which it can benefit you. You just need to, like, be really, really overly cautious to a point where it's almost not worth doing. So, my book's kind of Cthulhu-ish. Anyway, let's get to our first news item. You picked this one. We got Kim Jong Un's running bodyguards back in action in Singapore for U.S.-North Korea summit. Now, what the fuck is this about? This is something that Fox News decided to put on their front page, and I found it rather interesting. I believe it was the front page, or it was the front page of World. All the same, they made some headlines, made some waves. Some people paid attention last time they were out in force for when the last time we almost had peace in our time, and because they are they run alongside the car. They form these protective shells around the great leader wherever they go. They're like one part super ninja assassin, one part choreographed dance troupe, and that's why I like to dub them. I dub them. Kim Jong Un's personal K-pop squad. And it's funny because Kim Jong Un arrived. So they right here. Kim Jong Un arrived in Singapore on Sunday for the historic summit with President Trump and brought his army of bodyguards along with him. Yeah, that's the other thing. He has they're like teams and layers of them. He brings a small army.
The North Korean leader's security detail was out in full force on Sunday, shortly after Kim's plane landed at Shanghai Airport. Video showed men dressed in black suits with blue and white striped ties jogging alongside the black vehicle with tinted windows carrying Kim. The bodyguards caught worldwide attention during the Inter-Korean summit in late April when the suited North Korean men were spotted trudging along in a similar bizarre scene that was spotted Sunday. The bodyguards formed a human shield around Kim's black Mercedes limousine at the demilitarized zone before it drove into North Korean territory. North Korean leaders have been known to travel with ironclad security detail on trip and even to North Korea's countryside to inspect facilities. The bodyguards are chosen for their fitness, looks, marksmanship, martial arts skills, AFP reported.
Nunchuck skills, bow staff skills.
I just love
skills.
They apparently, well, I mean, fucking like insane despots apparently do too. Chubby fucking Michelin men impersonators from the peninsula of Korea. Okay. Enjoy a K-pop group who can kick some ass. Now, when I read this story, one of my first thoughts, honestly, was like, this sounds perfect. This sounds like a perfect build up to E3. You've got this big boss, right, surrounded by like the most elite goons you're gonna encounter in the whole game. And you got to fight your way through them until like he busts out the top of his Mercedes, sporting 2 miniguns, and you gotta dodge and do the roll thing and use your buffs. Ri Young-guk, North Korean defector who once served. That is
not a real name.
Ri Young-guk, G-U-K. I'm guessing.
You said Ri Young-guk.
Well, R-I, Ri Young-guk. That's my guess. I don't speak Korean. A North Korean defector once served on the late Kim Jong-il's security detail, wrote a 2013 memoir that the former North Korean despot had up to 6 different layers of security guards. And now I do kind of hope that like Trump decides that he's going to enlist like a boy band and put them through a montage of kung fu and firearms training so that they can be his bodyguard detail when he gets there. So not to be outdone.
They're just like Power Rangering like the whole time they're in front of him and shit.
Exactly. The Donald will not be outdone. He's my good friend Kim Jong Un.
I got the entire stunt doubles from the movie Avatar: The Last Airbender. They were terrific.
I brought half of the original cast of the Expendables. They came along willingly, folks. Willingly. They came with me willingly.
I didn't have to pay them at all or hold the families hostage. Okay, this is what I think. The scene of them like running alongside the limousine. This is my theory. So I lived in Panama, Central America for a while, going to high school, and they were always about 10 to 12 years behind in music and television. Now, I would assume that a hellhole like North Korea is probably a good like 25 years behind. So my theory is Kim just finally saw the 1993 Clint Eastwood classic In the Line of Fire, right? And he's
been singing Whitney Houston for God knows how long when he's not on the shit.
Oh God. He needs an army of Kevin Costner's / Clint Eastwood's to romantically be his bodyguards and run alongside his limousine.
The royal, imperial, People's Republic of his own bathroom. He only has it for acoustics, so he can sing Whitney Houston.
That would be my assumption. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we figured this one out.
No, I did. Here's the thing. People call North Korea the most. It's the mysterious, confusing, bizarre nation, right? Mm-hmm. But you need to break it down according to really shitty pop culture references, and all of a sudden it all makes sense. Like outdated pop culture references, yeah. Throw Donald Trump in the mix, and all of a sudden you've got a film that should have starred Jim Belushi. It's great.
Yeah, I suppose so. All right. Well, this next news article, this is not a very fun one. This kind of sucks a bit. Transition. Boom. The end of net neutrality is here. The way the internet is regulated, the U.S. is about to change. The controversial repeal of Obama-era net neutrality protections is officially set to take place on Monday, despite ongoing efforts from members of Congress, state officials, tech companies, and advocacy groups to save the rules. The Republican-led Federal Communications Commission voted along party lines in December to repeal the rules, which are intended to prevent internet providers from blocking, speeding up, or slowing down access to specific online services. The order required the approval of the Office of Management and Budget, which the FCC announced during last month in a statement at the time. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai.
What was our nickname for him? Senpai Cream Pie.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. That's what it was. The upcoming repeal is the... Hey, hang on. The fuck is happening? God damn it. Dude, we're not supposed to make fun of Ajit Pai. I told you.
What happens? What happens when we do that?
They fucks with our show, man.
I, for one, welcome our future internet overlords, Comcast and Verizon and Cox, because I'm sure that the YouTube Saints is one show that will absolutely never be interrupted in any way whatsoever.
Right. And we respect your ability to bend us over and brutally rape us in the ass for profit margins.
Yes. And all that stuff about Bezos that we said on Twitch, that was we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that unless Twitch is preferred content. In which case we love Twitch. Right. We're not here to sell ad or anything.
No, not at all.
Wait a second, doesn't it say that on the...
We love and support and want to lovingly fillet anyone who is in control of the platforms that we are currently existing on at this moment.
Yes, like the emperor of the internet, Ajit Pai, he's so benevolent in his willingness to let these massive corporations, these humble mom and pop corporations, do whatever they want, because we consumers have been running roughshod over them too long. And it's time we get what is best for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And yet, amongst those things, YouTube Saints, Ajit Pai for Senate 2020.
Who better to guide us misinformed consumers than these massive mega corporations? They have only our best in mind. Of course.
It really does. And by the way, this episode of YouTube Saints brought to you by Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces, they fit best in a cup, but only if you're a feckless douchebag who wants to ruin everybody else's fun.
I know. That's exactly.
Only carry it on.
Wait! Take it back.
I already closed the story. I don't know what the rest.
You
of it
have
says.
to take it back.
I can't. It's too late.
I do love Reese's Pieces, and I'm not gonna be passive aggressive about it.
It's true.
Please,
they are pretty good out of a cup.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, they're good out of a bag and off the fucking, pour them out on the sidewalk.
All right, we're clear.
That's fine. Yeah, all right, we're good. Jesus, so net neutrality. Back to this. Fuck net neutrality, right?
Yeah. No.
Are we still on that bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to get real with it, this is pretty fucked, and
It is.
It's net neutrality too is one of those funny issues that there were very few like partisan ideological lines to. It was basically everyone was for net neutrality except the companies and the douchebags in government who didn't like it. Everybody else who uses the internet, like pretty much by and large, like, yeah, I'd love to keep this thing so that I can like not all of a sudden have to watch Gilmore Girls if I want a decent download speed. But now that's gone. So just in the same way YouTube's gone, in the way that like so much of our favorite content, so much of the content people were growing to love with growing audiences that people enjoyed. And just like so many of the top creators who continue making that and remain the top creators despite YouTube trying to push their shit off the platform, so you can get Jake and Logan Paul and Lil Tay and who's that other that Cash Me Outside girl, all Danielle Bregoli. These people are brought to you by the companies who have been trying very desperately to control it, with an iron grip, the information that you're able to access over the internet and the speeds that you're able to enjoy your media with. Now, they don't like our media. Everyone from Paul Joseph Watson to me understands this, and so do you. And yet now these companies have the same kind of freedom to run roughshod over the entire internet, the same way Susan Wojcicki and her fucked up algorithms and really terrible senior staff have managed to do to YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, we assume this video is not going to be monetized anyway. We opened with a Randomercam song. But,
whatever. Fuck it. But, I mean,
it's
like,
okay.
And also, the thing is, too, a lot of people like to say, nothing's going to happen once we repeal net neutrality. Go Google right now abuses prior to net neutrality, and you'll find a whole fucking list of shit that happened. AT&T forced Apple to block Skype at one point. Comcast was shutting down your access to peer-to-peer applications like BitTorrent. At the time, I think like LimeWire and shit was being used as well. Then the really fucked up one, TELUS, Canadian ISP, began blocking access to a server that hosted a website supporting a labor strike against the company. So they were actually utilizing internet abuse and blocking methods to keep people from having access to a website about a strike against them. That's
and when
fucked.
was this again? And this was
2005.
like 2005, and we've come a long way since 2005, especially with YouTube and all these other outlets. Now this is going to bleed into the next story, but I figure it's worth actually bringing up now. Imagine if you take the death of net neutrality in the United States, where roughly half of the worthwhile, if not majority of the worthwhile internet content really comes from. And you couple that with you know how all your privacy policies have been getting updated? That's because they're the kind of shit the EU is starting to pull. And in our next story, we're going to talk about this, but they're looking at drafting tougher intellectual copyright protections and the like, which are bound to kill the memes, as we'll discuss shortly. But with this, if they're going to be serious about enforcing it, well, then all of a sudden, all of these VPNs that we're using, watch how quick governments move to make VPNs, well, governments on the behest of corporations move to make VPNs a thing of the past as much as they can. Because they're not just interested in tracking you for Google. They're not just interested in managing what you see so that you don't offend the Muslims who managed to slip into fucking Italy or something.
Right.
But they're genuinely interested in controlling all of it. And what they're going to feed you when they get that chance is Jake Paul dabbing on you. I hope it's Jake Paul dabbing on them.
Real fast, we got JSC Hung. He says, my story is more like Innsmouth than Cthulhu, which, awesome. No, the Innsmouth is an incredible story. But yeah.
Really good beer, too.
Never had it.
Oh, Narragansett.
Anyway, all right, so our third and final news story for the night. All right, it's all yours, Nick.
Yeah, I pretty much introduced you to it already, but yeah, so according to campaigners, at least, according to activists who are worried about what I believe is Article 13 of the EU copyright directive, they claim that memes will be banned. And as hyperbolic as that might sound, it kind of sounds like I got a decent argument. So the EU copyright directive intends to protect the intellectual property rights of people who upload their material to the internet. Okay. However, campaigners... Fucking... Come on, tablet. There we go. However, campaigners are warning that the law will require all content uploaded to the internet to be monitored and potentially deleted if a likeness to existing copyright is protected. With the exception of deletion, Jeff, where have we heard about this need for automated detection of potentially copyrighted material that seems to fuck everything up? I swear to Christ, I heard a story like this. It must have been from that homeless guy down the street.
Or everybody's experience on YouTube.
Oh, no, he used to be a YouTuber, but then his channel went under and it was deleted for no reason, and now he's living on the street.
Oh.
But yeah, the campaign against a particular provision of the directive, Article 13, warns that online platforms would be economically damaged if they were forced to comply with its expensive obligations. Another good take, another honestly fucking honest argument, because the use of content oftentimes and the extrapolation of things. I mean, what happens to all of our favorite movie review channels under this? What happens?
Right.
Yeah. The law would, quote, destroy the internet as we know it, warned the campaigners, who add it would allow big companies to control what we see and do online. It's almost like, I don't want to get, I've got 5-6 sources here, but they've told me that they're working on controlling our information. Holy shit, it does sound like something Alex fucking Jones would be talking about, doesn't it?
It legitimately fucking does. It really, really does.
But here we are. Yeah, but here we are. So we've got a U.S. Congress that has gone along with, and an FCC which is pushing for an end to net neutrality, which allows big corporations to control the speeds at which you can access different things based on their preferences and own criteria, which they promise. And we know we can trust big companies. They promise they're not going to fuck us with it. But and then in the EU, which is like this increasingly terrifying shadow government, which rules a whole bunch of otherwise sovereign nations, which make up the second biggest economic body in the West. They're now trying to make sure that they can use their own algorithms and shit to control memes and content in the name of protecting intellectual property. Who's
You know what I think we
intellectual
should do?
property?
I think we should dab on the EU.
As close as I come. I'm an old school.
I will get
I'm
him
old
to
school.
dab this episode.
Not this episode. Not happening. Yeah, essentially the campaigners are arguing that the
How many
stringent
Streamlabs to
copyright...
get you to dab?
How much to get you to do a death shot again?
I am sick as fuck. That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all right. I'll tell you what. $50 I'll dab. How's that? Yeah. I feel like I'm selling it cheap here too. You have any idea? I mean, like, listen, I keep what little dignity I have together by the tips of my fingers. So we're about to obliterate that shit. Here's a fun thing, though, to all this love dabbing. I've gone nuts out on a stream before, and I would sooner do that again than dab. I'm not going to.
I was just about to say, like, you have actually pulled your testicles out on a stream, and you'd rather do that than dab.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dabbing looks stupid on record forever. I've got huge nuts, and also I get to air them out for a few seconds.
They're pretty big. Net
benefit to me. Like, you know, it's like a tennis game. I don't understand how the scoring works, but I just say that I win at the end. Yeah, they're saying that Article 13 would damage the sharing of parody content and memes. Now we're getting into the important shit, the memes. Which themselves, while being original works and creative, are often developed from other people's work. And then they show a picture here of the jealous or the distracted boyfriend meme, right? Now I didn't know this was a photo taken by a person named Antonio Guillem. Yeah, that's when you see distracted boyfriend meme now. That was a photo taken by a dude named Antonio, and Antonio did that, and then it ended up becoming a meme. The campaign follows an open letter sent to academics from intellectual property research centers in Europe regarding copyright directive. The allegations have been robustly rejected by the European Commission. What a fucking surprise. And then Jean-Claude Juncker, famous for eating all of the biscuits out of the minibar and dumping all the wine on the bed when he stays at hotels. It's a nod to our guest. Said he wanted journalists, publishers, and authors to be paid fairly for their work. He's a spin master, that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Copyright protections would apply to work that, whether it is made in studios or in living rooms, whether it is disseminated offline or online, whether it is published via a copying machine or commercially hyperlinked on the web. This is basically like established. It sounds like what the fucking, like when the hardcore ANCAPs talk about the Federal Reserve. This is basically like, it's like the Federal Reserve of information, except like there was nothing there to begin with, and now they're just saying they own it all.
Right. Yeah,
Fantastic. So if you want to stand up, especially if we got any viewers in Europe, I mean, our guest tonight's from the UK, so I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about this. But yeah, if you've got any kind of voice at all, if you want to raise some hell about something, yeah, you can go out and throw road cones at police because Tommy Robinson's in prison, or you can go actually and defend your right to openly communicate with those who would like to dissent along with you. So I'm just saying, you know, there's more than one issue out there, and also free Tommy, because that's bullshit. Even though Tommy's an idiot.
Yeah. Mostly because I just want to. I want them to free Tommy because I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
It's the right thing to do, but also I don't want to hear about it anymore. Stop breaking shit.
I'm personally bored too of hearing how fucking ridiculous the UK judiciary and police system is.
Yeah, JSC Hong says, leave it to Germany to start a meme genocide. Yeah, that's true. Somebody else in the chat was saying it sounded like it was the final solution for the memes. Thought that was pretty accurate. Hannah says, please, Daddy Nick, dab. All right, that's about $2 towards the dab. We got 48 to go.
48 to go.
That's right. I don't know, man. The whole concept of them trying to illegalize memes is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, I mean, do you think they think that's a benefit? Because
Well,
I mean,
no,
all of these fuckers find their biggest pushback coming back from the meme world.
Here's a question though. So if one of the ways to kill a meme is to have to explain the meme, well, they're gonna have to define the memes, or at least like make parameters of what a meme is supposed to be. So ultimately, this could lead to the meme genocide. This could be the meme holocaust. The meme holocaust. Because
you know what it is,
and it won't be funny anymore.
Yeah, and in the same way that like Nietzsche's like wrongly accused of inspiring the Nazis and their genocide, and that was all because of his sister. But we're gonna end up like in history is gonna remember like PewDiePie being like seen as like a philosophical like godfather for the EU, and they're like, that's right, we just have to kill the memes. That's all we have to do, and it's just gonna be like EU. That's right, everybody. Welcome to the world's favorite unelectable governing body. We've come to kill the memes before they're even born. That's great.
Abortions.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know who should be front and center in the fight against this, and I know they got European stores, is Wendy's.
I was thinking Logan Paul. Let's take a dab on him.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. No, Jake Paul is a commercial product, so he just wants to make sure that he's still readily available when Comcast and Susan Wojciechowski fucking decide that, like, oh, you know what Belgium needs right now? Translated Jake Paul. Here you go. Here's a bunch of it. High speed. It's the only video you can watch at full speed without buffering. How's that? Yeah.
So he said we're gonna have to smuggle shitlords out of the EU. It'll be the underground meme railroad. Yeah.
Yeah. The underground shit road.
Yeah, yeah. God, we need like meme protest songs now too. That'd be good.
Well, seriously, I seriously would like. I would be fucking tickled if like tomorrow Wendy's took a public stand on Twitter, like about Article 13 being like we oppose Article 13 because you can't neither you nor Popeye's chicken can stop us, something like that.
All right, let's get Doc on.
Fresh, never frozen is better when it's funny.
Yes.
Hey, Wendy's. This episode brought to you by Wendy's. We gotta start getting sponsors if I'm gonna keep saying this shit.
I know, we really do. Really, really do.
Can end up being like, it's brought to you by Del Taco. They keep sending shit to my P.O. box.
Well, I'm not doing any sponsors on my channel. I might as well do ridiculous ones on this channel. That'd be hilarious. Don't have a Patreon.
Yeah. What kind of sponsors would we have? We'll find whatever that fucking anti-gay Christian group was that got kicked off.
And there we go. DoctorRandomercam, welcome to the YouTube Saints.
Welcome.
Word and stuff. Energetic intro.
Yes, yes. We're good at
American late night show, yeah. Like, give Graham Norton some speed. This is pretty much what you're in for.
Is he still going, Graham Norton? I remember him.
I don't know. It's
from before I died inside.
Graham.
Did
I
he
don't know
help?
what happened to Graham Norton either, man. I don't know. He was showing up on a bunch of internet podcasts for a while, like smaller ones too. I thought we tried to get him at one point, didn't we?
I pester anyone I see who's online at the moment. It's like, yeah, like. Shit. I mean, I still like anytime I see Jim Norton's online. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? Why not? Hey, Jim, you want to get shitty with some shitlords? Fuck, like, are you guys that? What are you, the fucking the Chan guys? No. We just shit post on a green screen.
That's right. Yeah. That's pretty much all we ever actually do. Yeah, dude, Doc, the fucking intro song that we get to play of yours was absolutely fire. I love that shit.
Thanks.
It's always
just good old 12-bar blues, man. There's a good thing about the 50s. You just break out the 12-bar blues in whatever key you can sing that particular melody in. Boom. Sounds like a different song from the last one.
Shit, that's based on something Mystique. Fuck. Shit, I can't remember.
That's some fancy academic word for it, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, it's like, I mean, you hear that question. Actually, before I even say this, Doc, thanks for fucking coming on, dude. I know it's late where you are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't have a job.
yeah. Well, last time, I know I asked you on the show one time, and I think you were still with the Post then, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since I gave up Her Majesty's pleasure. I don't know what you're supposed to call it.
It must have been hard to give up, man.
And now Her Majesty lives at my pleasure.
And she is pleasured by others.
Yeah.
Hopefully you, but I guess not. But it's funny because you could say it's funny because you hear people all the time talking about like, oh my God, all the music today sounds the same. It's like, have you listened to the music from the 50s? It is all the same. As was the music
Pop
from the
music has
30s.
been formulaic ever since we started recording shit, which is only like 100 years. People forget that there's not much of a history to recorded music. It's not like classical music or even like folk music. How do you spread the meme of a folk song in a medium where there's no electronics or shit? That's why no one can name any folk composers, because folk songs for all of history were named by whole groups of people. They were songs that were passed from one person to another, and until they were famous in the community, then they were famous enough to be famous in the world.
Yeah. And I mean that's where like the cultural music comes from. That's why I get it
Jackie
whenever
Wilson, Reet Petite. That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck. God, that was killing me inside that I couldn't remember that.
Yeah. See,
It was re-released in the 80s. That's why I remember it.
Was it? Okay.
This is also where the Richard Spencers of the world go wrong, because they say we have the recipes. It's like, my friend, none of your people will ever revolutionize the kind of music we all like in the kinds of way that the other people will. Get over it.
Black people and white people have benefited from stealing each other's music. If you even want to call it that, I mean, for fuck's sake.
From the beginning, yeah.
We didn't invent blues, but they didn't invent the guitar. They didn't invent the fucking stringed instrument. And
We didn't invent jazz, but they didn't invent the hymnal.
Stealing the Caucasian fucking stringed lyre format and that whole ensemble. No, you can have it. See what new shit you can do with it. You'll promise to say Led Zeppelin did technically steal black music. They just were influenced by it and did better things with it.
Well,
there's also the thing that's important to remember about it too is the blossomings of rock and roll that came out of like the blues and R&B and everything. Like back in those days, everybody was playing everybody else's music. Like you'd have somebody who'd come out with an incredible fucking song, and then
called the standard.
It was just 3 chords. It was that same 12-bar blues sort of C C F F
all
C
of
C
the
F G C.
right.
all of the string band classics, like they're known as standards because they were songs everyone was supposed to know.
That's why like Little Richard's music has been covered by so many fucking people, and a lot of it was covered within the same like early 10-year span of when he started getting really popular too, because everybody was like playing everybody's music. And then, white people finally got over the stigma that was black music, so they started playing it, and then it just white people were like, oh, whites are playing it now we can listen to it. So it's not really like it was stolen. It's that
it's the definition of
there's
still.
been a strange exception to the racism rule when it comes to performers.
Yeah.
It's like we consider you slightly less than human. But those guys who can hit a baseball really far, or those guys who can hit a high note.
Right.
Well,
we'll put them fucking front and center stage.
Yeah. Well, you've heard. I mean, have you seen
all that shit if it's going to make us money?
Do you ever see the film Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead?
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. It's Tim Roth and Gary Oldman playing Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and they spend the entire movie wandering
Hamlet
around.
Guys, right? Are they the guys from Hamlet?
Exactly, yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa guys, yeah.
Yeah, but they spend the entire movie just wandering around the periphery of the story of Hamlet, except when they have to step in for their scenes. And the rest of the time, they're walking around, pondering all of this inane, weird shit. The dialogue is brilliant, but they run across Richard Dreyfuss, who plays the lead of this troubadour theater that shows up. And he says, well, you people, he's like, did you just call us people? Sir, we are actors. We are the opposite of people. Without an audience, we cease to exist. And I'm like, I've always loved that fucking line. But actually, this is a good lead-in, though, because we're talking about, like, people stealing.
You're predicting the future of SJWs there.
Yeah.
It's not just you people we don't like anymore. You can't even say people.
Well, I mean, even on a broader level.
How dare you, sir?
This is a good segue, though. This is a good segue because, I mean, we were just talking about the EU ostensibly wanting to crack down on people stealing other people's intellectual content. I mean, as somebody who lives in the UK, I mean, granted, you're going through Brexit, but I mean, who the fuck knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, is this creeping menace of like, hey, we want to make sure that all of the big ISPs and our governments can filter what you get to make sure you get the best stuff. Where are you with that? Because we Americans, we're just like, we'll shoot shit until it ends. But
well, isn't this a rigmarole we go through every couple of years? It happened with SOPA, it happened with ACTA. Sometimes it's America, sometimes it's Europe. It seems we do this at least every other year, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And sometimes they don't go through, and sometimes they do, and the internet remains mostly the same. I always assumed that this sort of Wild West period of the internet would go down by a death of 1,000 cuts, rather than by one big act.
I think probably it's kind of like we're just waiting for that first really, really big shitty one to hit. Because I mean, I remember it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe like 6 years ago. There was a company that got in trouble because if you wanted to use FaceTime, you had to buy like a premium service for your internet and shit, for your mobile internet. And that in and of itself was like, it was bad enough just because people realized that could lead to something more, and that got people like, they got a fire under their ass. But you know, it's kind of, we have rules so that we don't have to have those controversies, so we have to put the rules in place. So I guess it's maybe it's me being pessimistic, but I do see like something probably will happen actually at this point, because there's no reason not to.
Do you guys both watch Layman, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Layman. Have you seen his recent video? Why did we wait so long, or whatever it's called?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
I was watching it today, and it's interesting because he actually introduces a concept called, I think it's called the catastrophe paradox, to where things need to get not just bad enough for people to notice, but they need to almost become like intolerable before they'll act. But even when they act, they'll fail to act in a way which actually corrects the problem.
It's the frog in boiling water thing, although the frog in boiling water thing turns out to be a myth.
Because that's how you make soup.
Frogs in slowly boiling water will just jump out when it gets too hot.
Or
it's an analogy everyone knows, even though it's flawed. So your analogy was closer, even though it was more long-winded.
That's what I specialize in. I take something you can say in 10 words and I say it in 30.
That is your tried and true method. Lots of exposition to be at least mostly right.
I just come in with, hey, did you know these 10 words are wrong? Fun fact.
Honestly, like if I had anybody come in and make a fact checking channel on a logical and rhetorical level, they'd be twice the size of me within 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, there's something about listicles of facticals. It makes the money, man. It gets the views. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is, because I fall for it all the time. When you see the thumbnail, you see the 5 craziest shit that ever happened in the whatever. You kind of go, oh, it's only 5 things. How long could it possibly take?
Right. I discovered something even weirder. It's like, I mean, I've managed to overlook those, but I found myself instantly clicking on a video the other day that says "Life with a Raccoon, Year 1 Update," and I'm like, I need to see what. Too. Yeah, I know. I had to watch it. I'm like,
that's what I come to YouTube for. That's what we've been coming to YouTube for.
Yeah, it's like we're coming back around. Yeah, we're creating our own renaissance in the face of the EU and Congress and Cream Pie Senpai and Susan Jabberwocky. Yeah, we're creating our own renaissance. We're breaking the conditioning. I mean, so keep clicking on those Badger videos, those Fox videos.
Every now and then, though, I do. What's going on? Every now and then I do find one like that does kind of rejuvenate my love for YouTube. When Billy the Fridge red pilled us on Vanilla Ham, that a 2 million subscriber channel where they make Undersubbed of the week for Undersubbed of the week. But he had a point, because it's all about making gourmet desserts in very tiny miniature scale for their little fucking hamster to eat. That's the whole fucking channel. And I think that channel fucking deserves 2 million goddamn subscribers. That's fucking genius. That's fucking genius.
Yeah, Frankie the Weatherman, is it?
Yeah, Frankie McDonald.
Frankie McDonald, another great channel that should be like, well, I mean, should be bigger than it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, guys, there's going to be a tornado warning in Nova Scotia. Now we're
Oh, I
going
know
to.
the guy. I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
great, right?
He's the best.
It's just the strangest thing that for all the production value that'll be put into things, and I mean, even going beyond like this sphere, like people are always like ContraPoints, what great production value. Have you ever watched GoPro Pros? They just do reimaginings of video games in real life. They're the guys who did Skyrim 2012 when they just sort of drop into a convenience store.
Oh yeah.
And like, hey, I don't have any money. You have any money? Hold on. He just like kneels down behind some dude who's shopping. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, shit,
That
he
was
saw
pretty
me,
good.
saw me. Yeah, well, I mean, since then they did one for Destiny 2 in which he's just in full armor in this desert fucking location, and he's depressed and bored because he's done everything in the game too many times. But it's real life, and he's just talking to his little hollow cube. He's like, we could go raid that huge sphere over there. No, I don't even get the point. I mean, we do it over and over again, and he doesn't do anything. What if we're the bad guys? I hadn't thought of that. I mean, these things look like grad thesis films, and they're just doing it for YouTube. And then all of a sudden, we're gonna go back to Vanilla Ham Ham and watching like a dude who's like, I had a raccoon in my house for a year. It's like that's what I want to see.
Yep.
Am I the problem?
It's, are you on Facebook, Doc?
I am. I've been on Facebook for over 10 years, but I don't use it anymore. I gradually stopped giving a shit about it, and I don't think I've even logged in for the best part of a year. So no, I'm going to say no. That was the longest way I could have possibly said what.
I learned it from watching. I learned it from watching you, Mike. I learned it from watching you.
It's the same thing as like with YouTube though, and I've gone on many rants about this on Facebook because I'll log into Facebook and I'll see a distant family member ranting about some political issue or this, that, and the other thing. Boring, hate it. Inspired fucking message over like pictures of whatever fantasy creatures. Boring, hate it. I don't fucking care. I want pictures of your fucking dogs. I want pictures of your fucking dogs, and I want funny cartoons. That's all I fucking want.
Yeah,
I don't want anything else.
Facebook is about family and friends, and I don't want to know what my family and friends think about politics for the most part.
Right.
Oh, one of my
I would
worst.
probably learn information that I would rather not have known.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the worst parts though is when you see people who think they're like, oh man, I love memes, and then you see memes from like 2 or 3 weeks ago that you saw on Twitter, and you already realize that when they hit Twitter, they've already been around for quite a while. So it's just like, oh god, no,
Yep.
we're getting sub tiers of like of people like people liking memes. Like, this is my favorite meme. It's like, that's an inspirational cat poster. Aren't those the original memes? And then you're like,
Kind of got me there.
Mm.
Kinda.
Guys, I just found this amazing video. It's called Two Girls, One Cup.
yeah.
When did you get here, pal?
I do actually take quite a lot of enjoyment out of when somebody says something like, I just discovered Two Girls, One Cup, sending them to eFucked, or even better, making them watch eFucked with me. I really like doing that.
Yeah, that's one of Jeff's hobbies, is making like, porn normies watch the weirdest shit he's found.
Yes, that is my favorite.
With the knowledge that it actually gets much worse, but you don't bring people there, and you try not to go there. But yeah, it's
You know it exists, but you've maybe even pictured it, but it's never been so easy to picture it that it's right there in front of you.
Oh yeah.
it's like Jeff also has a special love of eFucked, and you'll love this, Doc. So there's a kind of famous video on eFucked of this really hardcore radical feminist, right? And she just has like the two worst people on the face of the earth, apparently. Just go to town on her in the raunchiest and worst way you can imagine.
It's pretty bad.
And the whole time, pretty bad. I mean, it's not like super bad, but yeah, it was pretty bad. And like the whole time, she's like, "I'm still a proud feminist," while they're like spitting in her face, and she's just sitting there in the camera, like, "I'm so happy to be here," and then I got all that stuff up my butt. And then apparently you were watching it with your buddy, right?
I was watching it with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing this. No way. No. No way. And then at the scene where she's getting spit on and she's like, yes, I respect myself and I feel very empowered right now because I'm choosing to be here and wielding my power. And the dude's like, we're spitting on you. And she's like, yes, and I still respect and love myself. And my friend's like, no way, no, 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 turn it off. And we're like, what? What's going on? He's like, I know that girl. I see her at least once a week on the bus. I'm on first name
Always
basis
the
with this
quiet
girl.
ones. Always the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I want to hear.
No, I know, and some people from Discord are like, I watch that with people in Discord. No, this is even way before that. Even way before that, I showed it to another group of people. I show so many people e-fucked. It's just disgusting. It's fucked up.
Yeah, actually, I mean, if you ever want to if you ever want a reason not to go to sleep, just jump into our rabbit room in the Discord, and whatever anybody's watching there, you will watch with them. Sometimes it's good shit. Like,
everyone's got one of those rooms. Everyone's got at least one of those rooms.
Yep.
Sometimes you partition them off for particular fetishes. Well, that's kind of necessary.
Well, we've been pretty lucky with our Discord too, because like we've had a number of people come and try and raid it with like the weirdest shit they can think of, and it's one of those you came into the wrong neighborhood kind of things. And a few of them end up, usually I'd say most of the time, like, you know, a handful from each raid will stick around because they're like, I like this place. And then the rest will be like, okay, that didn't work. Shit, I don't want to be here anymore. Why do you have more clown porn than I have? Kind of shit.
Oh no.
See, I never even considered that clown porn was a thing, and now I know it must be.
How did you? I'm surprised you didn't know it was a thing. You live on the internet.
Well, I didn't not. Well, I just never put those two concepts together in my brain.
Subconsciously, you were aware it existed. You just chosen to never directly think about it.
I just wasn't averse to it existing. I just never thought of clown porn before. I guess I'm weird.
I mean, not necessarily like pornography though, but I really like the strangest parts of YouTube. I really legitimately do. It's why I'm such a big Gail Cord Schuler fan. You know, like I like showing people her Popeyes video. That's a fucked up one. That one's great. It was okay. I guess I gotta explain this one. Are you familiar with Gail Cord Schuler, Mike?
No.
Okay. All right. Gail is the Empress of Earth and also the President of Earth. She owns a giant spaceship called the Church of Gail, and it orbits the Earth constantly. It's full of her men, the people that she's married. Brent Spiner, who played Lieutenant Commander Data, Vladimir Putin, Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, Terrence Jenkins.
And who'd she turn?
There's a few others.
No, there was one that she turned. He's an actor. I think he was in Star Trek.
The
movie. Yeah.
I don't know. And she fights the forces of evil, and a lot of times that involves copious amounts of penises and semen, space lasers, things like that. She believes,
mind sex.
Right, brain to brain.
Yeah, brain to brain
communication
sex.
And brain to brain sexual acts. Yes.
Yeah, the dark side apparently, I think, almost once took Brent Spiner away from her, but she won him back through the copious amounts of brain to brain sex, and Vladimir Putin came in and had brain to brain sex with him, I think. There's a fabulous fucking mythology to this woman, and she tells it all to you from the comfort of her Florida bungalow.
Yes,
she's wonderful. Jeff's a patron.
I own many of her books too.
Like, all of a sudden I can see Mike's just like, why did I stay up for this again?
Oh, you're muted now.
Oh, yeah, you're muted for some reason.
There we go. Sweet. Uh-oh. What is happening? I think Mike's muted.
Yeah, he most certainly is.
Oh no, yeah, that's all right.
I was just sitting here. I'm thinking, like, how is it I'm not hearing a response to any of this story he's being told? You get into think like, what's the? So how was that late night show? Well, I learned a lot of interesting things about Lieutenant Commander Data.
Oh my god.
That happened.
Oh my god.
We really do need to get her on here. We need to get
Yeah.
Gail on the show.
We do. Although, I mean, I actually got some flack from somebody the other day.
Zach Knight. Zach Knight. I see it in the chat. I can't see who it's.
Is he in the chat?
No, Zach Knight's not in the chat. I'm
okay.
saying somebody just tagged me and said it was Zach Knight. Thank you. I can't see your name, but.
Oh, Zach. Yeah. No, I talked to that dude. He we didn't get a chance to get a drink at last VidCon, but we might get a drink this VidCon. I might get to meet the Zach Knight. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Sweet.
A little bit of echo, but.
Oh, okay. Why wasn't that there before? I don't know how the internet works, so I'm just gonna guess.
Oh, dude, you should see what happens when I try and run the show.
Oh yeah, that's always an interesting one.
Yeah, sometimes it's an hour late. Other times it's a healthy show with a minute and a half of no audio.
You're getting better though.
I am.
Well, so real quick,
Forrest Gump learning curve on this shit though.
Real quick, Rimshi says, "Here's to those lost this week. Discussing the pre-show. May they rest in peace. R.I.P. in peace." By the way, we do have a pre-show. The link's in the description of this video. You should go subscribe. They do a good show too. But yeah, we lost quite a few this week, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, well, we're gonna. Did we get a send off for the end of the show?
Didn't. I didn't find
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, I do genuinely mourn and lament the loss of Anthony Bourdain.
I never watched this show.
Oh, I mean, watching his show is fun. Reading his books and reading his essays, it's funny because most of the world will remember him as a celebrity TV chef and a travel show host. But the guy was a dyed-in-the-wool writer. I mean, he was a New York, like a New York kitchen chef. Because you got the chefs who go to culinary school after watching Food Network usually, and they come out with all this attitude a lot of times. They've got a whole lot of knowledge, like science, food science in their head, but they don't know how a fucking kitchen works, and they don't know how to make food half the time. But he was a real chef, came up from like working in nothing but kitchens his whole life. He wrote in his book about how awful working for Food Network was, and he fucking hated those people. And yeah, but he was, I mean, the guy was a smackhead for a while, long-time alcoholic, got sober in the last 5 years or decade or so. And was really struggling with it then, too. He'd always struggled with all the kind of artistic writer shit you imagine. Depression, drug use, alcoholism, self-hate, all this other shit. But, I mean, his writing was, he would speak in this casual tone. He'd have this really casual voice, right? But at the same time, he says so much. Long sentences, lots of words, and not a single one was wasted. And the whole while, it just felt like a casual conversation. And that was what he wrote for with his shows. And one of his cultural influences was he'd travel to weird places on his show, and he'd try the cuisine, and he'd hang with the locals, and half the time he'd just get shit-faced with them. And one of his big things is like, he's like, if the one thing he learned from his show, I think he said, is that Americans need to be less afraid of foreign cultures because they're so awesome. And the guy was a dyed-in-the-wool. Yeah, he was a dyed-in-the-wool foodie, traveling writer, and a chef. A fucking rock star. He will be missed. Pinky's up for Anthony Bourdain to begin with.
Hannah says this show has been brought to you by Hannah the Hooker. If you need something, just good enough. And Y2KNW to Randomercam. Jimmy Boyle, the guy who joked about the Queen's pussy being haunted, said nothing about dank sentencing. Who took away that man's balls, and how do we get them back to him?
Probably meant Frankie Boyle there. I'm trying to find but yeah,
Frankie Boyle.
If that's the Scottish comedian you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Now I've already lost track of where I am. Yeah, it's not worth anyone's job if you're up high in the mainstream media and shit. And Frankie is at the moment. He's doing a series for the BBC about Russia.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because that's where the World Cup's happening. So it's a little bit of cultural exchange going on.
That's true.
a thing that can only apparently be done via television with Russia.
Well, yeah. There is like a really important point there, though, is like if you're part of, you know, celebrity culture and you're part of mainstream media, you know, we can have a controversy here on the internet. 6 months later, nobody gives a fuck. Everybody's forgotten all about it. But mainstream media celebrities, like, that shit fucking, it goes with you a long time. Michael Richards ain't come back yet. Mel Gibson ain't come back yet. Like, nope. You have to be really fucking careful.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pity, too, because, I mean, Frankie Boyle was, I mean, kind of a notorious comedian, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he tells the jokes no one can believe he got on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
saying the Queen's pussy is haunted is pretty goddamn up there, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, it's a real pity. I mean, it all feeds back into the whole free speech argument in that serious way, doesn't it, though? Because we know they're trying to control the information we get to see and hear and read and partake in. They're trying to control what we can enjoy. And they're controlling those who know how to entertain us by way of like threat narratives and stick and carrot shit.
It's the old media noticing that they're losing to the new media and resorting to some pretty shitty tactics. It's just like when fucking William Randolph Hearst in his timber industry couldn't stand the idea of a decorticator and the hemp industry, so we told a bunch of lies. And we still living with those lies to this very moment. God knows how long we'll be living with the lies that the old media is currently, I mean, the modern equivalent of reefer madness, which I guess would be Gamergate and MRAs and the alt-right.
Oh, Christ, just to think about the PewDiePie Wall Street Journal thing. I'm almost really glad that happened at this point, because at least now, like, the world's biggest YouTuber is pretty much on the side of, okay, quit fucking around with it. I mean, it started impacting his bottom line, but it's it. I mean, do you think we'll win? Especially with the Vanguard being what, like the Gavin McGinnises and the Lauren Southerns and shit. I mean, are we really gonna? Do you think we're really gonna win?
Well, the Vanguard is whoever they want. They want people to see as the Vanguard. You know. That's the only reason. It's the only reason anyone's heard of Richard Spencer, because they love pretending that he's the leader of everything. Look at this absolute moron. He represents everyone. Yeah.
I'm so glad we have Dankula, especially though. I mean, it's one thing to listen to the guy's like videos and, you know, his comedy, his jokes, but like watching him shut down that reporter outside of the courthouse there, and anytime you put him on the spot, like Marcus is never wanting for the right thing to say at the right time, to drive the point home crystal clear, and leave very little wiggle room for you to fuck around in. They'll still try, but it won't work as well.
Especially when it comes to that argument, because he's had it so many fucking times at this point.
Yeah, I'll say like, you know, the days leading, you know, the era, the period leading up to Gamergate, when like when the MRAs were starting to get around, when Karen's videos were going viral, and the bad old days, as some might call it. Yeah, I would have never imagined though that we'd end up with like such a champion, because he taught his dog to annoy his girlfriend. It's like, well, why wouldn't you? Did you see the meme culture which preceded that story? Well, yeah, I was there. Ah, you were too close to it. Like, I could have told you it would have been something this stupid long ago. I'm an enlightened centrist.
Some people become great. Some people have greatness thrust upon them. And some people like Dankula are great and have greatness thrust upon them. And then they get both of those two things to have butt sex with each other. Butt sex.
Okay. The straw man, we must secure the existence of our memes and a future for internet shitlords. Too true. And Swedemason, on the subject of us being raided, we had one last night. Unfortunately, they were shit and we had to show them how to properly raid. Long story short, we ended up raiding ourselves. It was not very pretty. Sounds about right.
Yeah, we get kind of meta up in Saints Discord. Eventually, people start just trying to outdo each other to show the people who showed up, thinking they knew what they were doing, who needed to be shown how it was done, how it was actually done.
Mm.
Oh my God!
Trolling trolls.
I'm just amazed. Every portion of that sentence made sense. I'm pretty proud of myself right now. I'll be honest.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm just pretending.
Oh, it's okay. That describes our show in a nutshell.
So you're not coming to VidCon this year, are you?
No, I ain't getting no plane.
Aww. That's too bad. I had a lot of fun last year. That was great.
It was fun. But the ICMI is in Britain this year, so I'm going to get to see my friends. They're all going to come over here, and I won't have to go on an adventure in another continent. So I can go a whole year without getting on a plane.
Was that your first time in the States?
I've been to California twice now. I went for the Red Pill premiere as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Still never been to the rest of the United States of America.
We got a lot of it.
I'm told might as well be a different country from California.
Yeah. California is pretty. Well, Southern California in specific is very unique to America.
Yeah, if you came to New England, you'd be like, I just want to go back to Old England. Oh, fuck, I can't say what I want there. All right, well, you have guns at least.
Yeah, New England's pretty bad.
Well, I'm going to be representing a portion of it, so I now have to officially say I know there's at least one strip of land here which is fucking awesome. Ward 3 Manchester. You're the best.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do
any of them have internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's like shitty public Wi-Fi all over the place, and yeah, we all got internet here. We're not living in the Stone Age. We're not like Wales or something. No, we're just a different. We're on a different speed, and that speed happens to be 56K.
That whole area of New England, I think we should just call it North Borea, because Jesus Christ.
How do you know? People are so bored they make up ways to have fun, like heroin and alcoholism. We're really good with that.
It's so progressive.
It really
sounds like the Manchester I know and love.
Yeah, no, I've heard there've been English who've come here and studied at college or just come over here and ended up living here, who said they have trouble figuring out which one is dirtier. Instead of stabbing each other, we like to shoot each other here. We do a lot of that. We used to call my city Manch Vegas because about like 15, 20 years ago, it was kind of run by a little tiny Greek mafia, right? Mm. But they had connections in the state and they had connections in the city, and they ran backroom illegal gambling throughout all of their pizza parlors and hair salons and all of that, and then that kind of just faded and fizzled out. Now we call it Manchganistan because we have lots and lots of heroin and everyone's got an AK. So it's a good fun time around here. I'm going to be very proud to represent Ward 3 of the state. And by the way, Mike, I'm not joking about this. I'm actually running for office.
He is.
Yeah, I am.
Stranger things have happened, right?
Probably going to win. I'm going to win. But yeah, no, New England. Yeah, I was in New Orleans once, and when a Scotsman accused me of being an Englishman because I was sipping my whiskey and I had fucked up teeth, I told him I was from New England, and he immediately said, "Well, fuck me, that's worse than Old England." And then he proceeded to ask, "Do you like doing cocaine?" We got along after that. It was an interesting evening. Then his wife came and collected him and left me with the rest of his cocaine. So
that's what a kind soul. What a very kind soul.
I'd like to think all Scots are like that, but I'm sure that's not the case.
Well, there's a New Scotland, but it's called Nova Scotia and it's full of Canadians. So I don't know how they size up with the Scottish.
Nova Scotia. Okay, guys. A man eats 50 hot dogs and runs from animals in Nova Scotia. Sorry.
Oh, well, the wolves were after him in that one video. Yeah. Look at that. People are more eager to make you force feed yourself pure gasoline from Poland than they are to make me do what is in my mind the equivalent of the Roman salute.
Oh no, we're about $20 away from you having to dab.
Oh, I have not been paying attention.
I have. I got you. That's the whole thing. Nick doesn't want to do a dab, and we're gonna force him to do a dab.
Double or nothing. I'll do a Roman salute.
No, you will not.
I'm Jewish. I can get away with it.
It's
like
care.
Mel Brooks. At this point, it's like Mel Brooks doing it.
Don't care. Nope.
Yeah, but I want to be able to pay for the fucking baggage fees from Spirit Airlines.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "No, here's $20 towards the baggage fees," and then we're gonna have to argue about whether or not I have to dab.
I just want to keep saying Nova Scotia over and over. It's like my new favorite fucking word. Mitch, it's our boy Mitch. He says it's my boys from your boy. Aw, what's up, the boy Mitch? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Hannah says, I know I joke around on here and in the server, but it's been a fucking great, and I'm having a lovely time. You're all like family to me, and two, that I wish you all fair and well. Love you all. We love you too, Hannah. We love you too.
Always. And forever. Until the end of the universe. After that, the warranty's expired. Can't really be held accountable. Right?
Ready.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing I like about that old theory of the big chill. What was it called? The big cool notion that the universe would eventually just spread out and stop vibrating, and then it just kind of cool off back into nothing the way it used to be.
The inevitable entropic heat death of the universe.
Yeah, which they're pretty sure isn't going to happen. But I like the idea that way I can actually promise. I can promise something forever. No. They've kind of come up. They've figured out like, it's not necessarily going to happen. No, wait, it's the big shrink that's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, the universe is going to end, so I feel comfortable in some cases promising something forever, knowing that it's still a finite thing. I'm not really locked in as much as I think.
Okay, by this reasoning, then, if you dabbed, ultimately it would be meaningless anyway.
Oh, it begins meaningless, which is a big reason that I'm making people pay for it. That way it has meaning.
And in that same method, like nothing really truly has any meaning because there's nothing such as permanence, because eventually everything dies and everything is entropically cooled into a cold nothingness, static forever.
And so in the finite period of our lifetimes, the subjective meaning we apply to given situations is what should matter most to us unless it affects others. And in this case, the subjective meaning to a dab is $50.
For all we know, God wants you to dab. We don't know the character or nature of God. Maybe the one true God is a God that wants nothing from us except to dab.
He's right.
How about this? I mean, if because we named this episode "Munted Late Night," in honor of yourself. Also, I had to make sure that word meant what I thought it did. Because
what did you think it did?
I didn't think it did anything specifically. I had an idea it meant like drunk as fuck, but I couldn't be sure because you people, your words don't make sense. You make slang out of like tangential rhymes that you have. So
it's a particular sexual practice. I believe it's known as gunging in certain parts of North America.
Jeff, you're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Look it up.
It's munting. It's another word for gunging.
What is gunging?
It involves a dead woman.
Yes.
Is that like Mung Festiva?
No. I'll get.
You know what both of those are? What the fuck?
All right.
Suddenly I'm horrified.
I wanted to make sure I had like the full Urban Dictionary one. Excuse me. Gunging, pouring any thick, sticky liquid over your body, particularly food items such as syrup, beaten eggs, pudding, chocolate sauce, then performing a sexual act either alone or with another person. That's the top one for that one. But munting is different. Munting. To find and dig up a semi-decomposed corpse, one person then goes down on said corpse, whilst the other jumps on the dead person's stomach, causing the juices to be forced from all orifices. These are then drank by the person orally connected to the corpse.
Yeah, no, that is Mung Festiva.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, so it is Mung Festiva.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I know two terms for that thing now?
That's how language evolves, man. It went munt in one direction, and it went monk for Steve in another direction.
Yes, I know. And then in the direction that it came at me, it's like, congratulations, this thing you didn't want to know even happened now has 2 names for you. Hope you're happy.
But it's just a funny word. I think in Australia it's a common expression just meaning drunk.
Well,
just wasted.
I put munted into the Google search, and the Google search returned, and I saw, like, as I grazed over the top search result, that it said drunk in some particular. So yeah, I suppose, I mean, munted dabbing, if we have to change it to that, it's looking like we might.
Well, our monetization is still green, so YouTube hasn't been red-pilled on corpse juices.
The night is young.
We're all about education.
Yeah, like, Susan's watching us live right now, like...
Oh, she's a big fan of the show.
Oh, I know she is, but I mean, like, she's been going over what her funeral arrangements might be. She told me that at lunch last week, and maybe this is, like, the kind of party she's interested in having, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna yellow coin us or just like demonetize it entirely, and she just called them up real quick on her Apple iWatch and said through her Bluetooth headset, "No, I want to hear more." And then it turned in, yeah, this is like, there's gonna be a clip of this episode. In fact, you know what? I would really love it if Jeff's explanation and our understanding of what these 2 terms mean were put together with the Starship Trooper style. Would you like to know more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need that. That will be the promo for midweek, because we're getting Omegon on it, so we can't take it too seriously.
Is it Omegon or Omegon?
We're getting the moist sandwich. We're getting the
Omegon?
moist sandwich squid on. How about that?
I always
He was another candidate for Undersubbed. He's been working super hard in the last couple of months. He was doing a video every other day.
He makes great videos.
If anybody here is not subscribed to Omegon right now, you should go and do so, because he makes great content and he knows his sandwiches.
And he flirts with me, so I like him.
And he has a very delicious voice.
He's Kurt Eichenwald's favorite.
Moist.
Yeah, he's Kurt Eichenwald's favorite shit poster.
We actually just had a shit ton of these come in just now. Let's see. Shane Boatwright. If it weren't for the acid reflux, I'd love nothing more than to drink with you guys. Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. Mount says, my last $2 till tomorrow. You want to fight me, Jeff? Yes, I do. Sredi Coochie. Dab, Nick, make, Nick, dab... Nick make dab, dab, Nick dab make. You get the picture. This is for shilling for Jeff to drink paint thinner. Fair's fair, Henry. True. One fuck Canuck. It was my birthday yesterday. Hey, happy belated birthday, One fuck Canuck. It sucked. Aw. Hopefully we can cheer you up a little bit. God bless the Saints for making it better. Thanks, my dudes. It's like I'm fortune telling while I'm reading this fucking thing. But yeah, pinkies up for One fuck Canuck. Hannah, I'm not fucking going till Nick dabs. Okay. Rhino says, and this makes $50. Make Nick dab again. Hey, Matt Yarbo. Rhino says he's sorry. Please stop with the silent treatment. I'm still here for you. Go watch Upgrade. That's it, Nick. You gotta dab. You gotta
do my best. It's new to me. It's, I know it's muscle memory for a lot of you, so
take it slow.
I'm gonna take it slow. So the arms, they start by coming up. Yeah. By the way, I'd like to, before I get into this, I'm going to stall by saying this is the first Saint stream we've had recently where no one's actually like super chatted to make Jeff say all of those lovely words.
True. All right. So lift up your, let's see, your left arm into a crooked wing position, elbow high. Then your left arm, it's going out. No, to the other side. Like far out to the side. No. Turn it to the side.
It's reversed.
No. You fuck off.
You want to make a T shape?
No.
You want to stand in like a
like
T
that?
shape?
No. I swear to God. Okay, now your left arm, bring it in, crook it in. Yep. And flatten it laterally towards your chest. Higher. Yep. Now, I fucking swear to God, do not stretch this out further than it needs to be. Now, dab it! There we go. There's a dab. All right.
Sorry.
We are now.
I'm having a heated Mel Brooks moment. They happen.
It does.
Especially around bridges or on stages. There we go, though. Y'all paid for it. You got your dab. Look, I mean, see, look. I'm seeing it play back all the screenshots. Oh my god! I even turned so that you could see the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I did this whole Dragon Ball flick of the wrist thing. It was good.
It wasn't like a power dab where you're like, bam.
Those are expensive. That costs me smashing my face into my own arm.
Yeah.
And honestly, too, I'm, I am kind of traumatized by that because it snaps me back to my daughter manipulating me. And she's 10 now, so I'm like, okay, if you're trolling me to get what you want and it's working now, what happens in 10 or 15 years?
True.
It's like I'm gonna end up paying a mortgage because of whatever the viral trend on YouTube that I can't stand is. She's just gonna stand on my fucking lawn and do that.
At least we're not T-bowing anymore, you know.
What was that?
T-bowing was like where you like had to lean down and do this shit.
Oh, because he was like crying to Jesus on the field and shit.
Yeah, he prayed a lot. He was very religious. Do you want to live honest?
If Jesus was more interested in my football game than he was all the starving people in the world.
Giovanna Liviana says, "Hey, Dr. Randomercam, please sing 'Only a Gamer.' I love that song."
It's quite a long song. It's like 6 minutes long.
Yeah, this is a long-ass song. It is a really good one, too.
Could we have a few bars from the chorus?
Now, you should know by now, all my choruses are different. I don't let myself write the same thing for each chorus any more than I write the same thing for each verse.
Yep.
Your favorite?
I'm just stalling.
My first and my absolute still favorite song of yours, though, and it was the one that made me hit subscribe like instantly, was Your Hair is Green. Jesus Christ. It was just so savage, man. It was just brutal.
I probably should have called it that, shouldn't I?
I don't remember what you actually called it.
My problematic coagulum.
Yeah,
I was going to call it Your Hair is Green, and I was having a sort of dilemma. I thought people are going to look at this video and see the title Your Hair is Green and think, my God, you're dumb. Really? Is that going to be the focus of your video? The video's called Your Hair is Green. You're just going to be talking about her hair. Hey, people think this guy is smart. So I thought I'd try and second guess that by calling it something like problematic coagulum. Still my most watched video though. So. Is
it really? Huh.
My favorite song has to be from the Dark Cheese days though.
Nice.
Starting out with Santa Claus as a postman with no union. The Easter Bunny used to be a horse before he was outsourced. The Tooth Fairy
it's called Legend of the Appendix.
That's the one, Legend of the Appendix, yeah. I was fresh off of being a union organizer then too, so when I hear, won't be the same without union privileges though.
Yeah, I was still working as a postman at the time. Yeah. Wondering what it must be like for Santa.
Oh man.
Yep, you go from Santa to like why Genghis Khan and Napoleon killed everyone, and then it ends with Happy Christmas.
Yeah, just a series of historical lies, basically. That's all that.
Well, I mean, if you begin and end it with Santa, then you leave everyone with the right impression, I'd say.
That's true.
Jesus, Harrison Ford, who's keeping track anymore? All right, so do we have anything more to catch up on, Jeff, before we move on to this wonderful Undersubbed?
Yes, we do. 2 more. We got Shane Boatwright says, so goddamn worth it. I agree, man. That was pretty worth it. And Ominous Kelp sent us a little bit of love. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. Okay. So, let me make sure I get everything in frame. But, so this is your Undersub that you recommended to us. Do you want to talk a little bit about him?
Yes. Well, I went with Swedemason, video remixer extraordinaire. Gold standard for musical poop.
Probably inspired harmful opinions, I'd say.
Inspired most of us because he was there. He's like the I've forgotten his name. The guy who does animation.
Oh.
No, I was trying to equivocate him to someone else, but that's not going anywhere. So I've gone with Swede, even though Swede is a legend, who's had like viral video after viral video, because the name of the game is Undersubbed, and the point is, there was briefly about a week or so last year when I had more subscribers than Swedemason. He had like 60k, I had 61, I think. It was one of the first significant times I got that bizarre attack of perspective. Like, why the fuck am I? Why? Who am I? And why? It's a combination of I can't believe I have this many subs, and I can't believe Swede has so few. He's got more than me now. He's gone back to normal. He had another viral hit with the Trump video. That was a good one. Yeah, like 3 million views from that, and it bumped his subs up from about 60k to 65k.
Nice. Wow.
I don't. It's one of those counterintuitive trends. People don't bother subscribing to Swede because they'll probably see his next awesome video anyway.
Well, they're too busy now.
In their circle will post it, you know.
Well, I mean, we all know from sub numbers too. They're all too busy not watching the videos that the people that they are subscribed to make.
Yeah. It makes you feel better when someone says you should have more subscribers. No, I shouldn't. I don't want more subs than Swede. That's the wrong universe. I think I have just the right amount of subscribers. Maybe too many.
All right, let's check out Swedemason.
No DLT.
Cook it down. It's the bloody Mason.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Shimmy, the mic to take it away. Of on a natural charge, on my from the home of the darkest root these clothes. And be on a wall, rain on your nose, disco door. For you, even touch my skill. Not about the one where I be. Aim for the ground. Chop that down, much corner alone. Lyric can't wait him into the load. But an empty and infected you hate. Yes, I go. Norman Bates, I helped you. Slam my going light. I'm jump on stage and in the door. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ha! She wouldn't say maybe he likes it raw. Keeping it dirty down to the floor. Say my name is LDB. And I beat your ass. Tell the ladies who know me. Tell them that I be. Tell the humans who know me. Tell them that I be. The time comes down on you like a rock. By the dock. By the rock. By the rock. Got her rock down my rock. My mutant seal on down by the dock. Enough of this senseless babbling.
Excellent. God damn.
It's a lot. It's even funnier if you know the original song, because those are all the original lyrics off the song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All taken from Mumra's dialogue.
That's insane.
God, I wonder what Mumra looks like in the fucking Steven Universe format. What's that even gonna? What does Mumra look like in the new format?
Know what? He probably looks like a mumble rapper. You know, he's got rainbow dreads and like face tattoos. Maybe it says damaged up here. Yeah. There we go. We're trying to connect with the millennials.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that Swede does well. He can find any word in someone's catalogue of things said. And another thing he does well is he can take one. There's loads of videos where it just takes one second of footage and moves it back and forth through the whole song, and that is the whole song. He's got one from With Nail and I, which you wouldn't know if you're not English.
Fucking Jeff, would it be possible for us to actually just play like a few seconds of the famous Mel Gibson?
On the Mel Gibson one, yeah, there's that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, no, it is the impressive thing. You're right, because it's the kind of thing like, if he can't find a sample to make of the character saying the word, and he doesn't alter the shit, but he will create the right tonality by just meshing together two microscopic sequences to make the right word.
Give me back my son.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an older one.
It's I don't think I've seen this one. Let's take a look.
This one is amazing. This is from the movie Ransom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody has.
Wow.
Give me the money, you motherfucker! Give me back my son! Son! Give me back my son! My son! Son! Give me back my son! Son! My son! Son! Give me back my son! Give me the money! My son! Son! Give me back my son! My son! Son! Give me back my son! Son! My son! Money! Give me back my son! Give me the money! Give me back my son! Give me back my son! My son! Son! Give me the money! Give me back
That's pretty good.
It's fucking beautiful. That was his old work too.
Like Ringo Starr, right? Bear with me. Is well known, infamous even, for being a shit drummer. But he wasn't. He was remarkably inventive within a certain restriction zone. He didn't need the fancy kit. This is something you'll only know if you've met drummers who've explained this to you. Any munchkin can sound great if they've got a 76-piece drum kit. If you're like Nick Mason, if you've got enough roadies and enough sheer truck space for a percussive fucking orchestra, then yeah, you can give the impression that you're a professional. A truly brilliant drummer is one who can work with one drum, or at least with the simplest kit possible. Nick Mason's the guy from Pink Floyd, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty ironic that he has the same name as Swedemason, but all of us certainly go winky madink. But yeah, Nick Mason sucks. I love Pink Floyd. This isn't to a geeky and absurd degree, but yeah, Nick Mason's a shit drummer. If you give Nick Mason nothing but one snare drum and some brush sticks, you'll get an abomination. You get incoherent dribblings that sound like a man on acid. But you give Ringo Starr a snare and some brushes, and you have the drum track you need for an M64. Don't get me wrong, they're both extraordinarily lucky to both be earning like $5 million a year because they're both average drummers. But hey, there's one way to go. The Nick Mason way. You don't have to be good at your instrument, just be the only member of the band who never gets kicked out. But the point is, the genius of drumming is not what's in your drum kit, but what you can do with one drum. And this is Swedemason's genius. It takes one clip, 1 second of footage, and he could change it up enough to turn it into a song with sort of beginning, middle, and end thing going on.
And it stays fair use. It's basically, this is like fair use music. It's like, I'm going to do a fair use remix. I'm never going to use more
used to be able to work with it with 20 seconds. I think it's down to 15 now. Eventually, they'll get it down to you can only use 1 second clips at a time. But Swede's still going to be able to do it.
Swede's no, he's gonna be selling out like concert venues where all he does is just play his hard drive through the PA system. Like, pretty good, right? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not getting sued.
Not getting sued. I got Mel Gibson lead vocals. How's that? You couldn't get that. Beatles couldn't get that. No one will hire him. I will. Not pay him, though. He's an intern here. That's fucking quality music. Now, I've been following Swedemason myself for about, I want to say 3 years, since a friend showed me that. The Trump video, which went viral, and even if you're a Trump fan, if you're like a Red Hat MAGA type, you cannot help but enjoy that video. It is so well done. It is the Talking Heads video, as you remember it, except it's Trump doing it. And
he's gone through and found every word in the lyrics, and Trump said it somewhere.
It's not like he talks a lot or anything, but yeah, yeah. But and the way and the way he stitched it together. I mean, would it be possible, Jeff? You think to pull that up?
Which one?
The Trump Talking Heads video.
Yeah. Let me try and find that real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, we're just gonna drunken peasants all you guys a little bit here by just jumping with our guest from one video into another. But it's okay because stealing,
Swedes
great
gotta be
artists.
enjoyed, man.
Exactly,
Swedes
and
gotta be enjoyed.
great artists steal from other great artists, and if we're gonna get DMCA'd by Swedemason, we might as well go to the hilt, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he gives a
Strike.
shit. I don't think he gives a fuck. He often goes like years without uploading anything. So he doesn't do this.
Oh
for,
no, YouTube will do
anything
it for
but a
him.
hobby.
YouTube will do it for him, and then it'll just take us a whole long while we wait to see if he responds, to which he probably won't. Like, oh, somebody else used my shit. Oh, here we go. This is beautiful. I didn't know what to expect at first, but
And you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may say to yourself, well, how did I get here?
That's pretty amazing.
so good. It's so good. I mean, it just to see these kinds of clips. I remember the Harmful remixes, and I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, that reminds me of something. Now, at the time, it was mostly Cassette Boy, but then I'm like, oh, but also Swedemason. Holy shit, there's a whole fucking genre of people who've learned to make music out of sound clips of inane shit that they found on the internet. What is my talent?
So Anna Hot Hearts actually pointed this out to me. Apparently, Ringo Starr is also an artist. This is an example of some of his art here. It looks like it was drawn in MS Paint. Yeah, here, let me see if I can share this with you guys real quick.
He's also a popular voicer of trains.
There you go.
Like, I'm from a generation that grew up with him voicing Thomas the Tank Engine and not knowing who the fuck the Beatles were.
And now you
he?
think Rembrandt was a chump.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's pretty amazing stuff right there.
That is MS Paint, all right? That's
I
got to
don't
be
know.
MS Paint. He's
I
got
don't know.
fucking what are those? They're like Microsoft Pokeballs growing on vines. It's amazing.
Well, like, and the thing is, too, like, somebody said artist shaming for shaming. No, like, I get it. I mean, here's the thing. I could not do art as good as this. I am that bad at art. Like, I can Photoshop like a motherfucker, sure, but like original compositions, I can't do anything that good. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Like, it's fine, maybe his art's kind of a little like, meh. He sold
He's a
that
better
shit
drummer.
for $2,200.
That's
It's out of
he's
stock.
Ringo.
People bought it.
Yeah, but that's because he's a famous, apparently mediocre drummer.
That's insanity.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, you don't buy it for what it looks like. You buy it so you can say, guess what? Ringo Starr did that.
Yeah.
I have an original Ringo. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got an original Ringo. It hangs next to my original Salvador Dali, and people will go up and be like, I don't know anything about art. Which one is which?
At least it's a painting, It's like,
And-
check out that pile of shit in the corner. It's an original Emin.
Yeah, I mean, has anybody seen what Jim Carrey's been up to?
Pretending to be Jesus.
No, pretending to be Andy Warhol meets Jesus meets Susan Sarandon.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's right.
Yes. Yes, I mean, it's wonderful because he makes giant paintings. And I'll say this much, like, when he's done some paintings that I've looked at them, like, that's actually kind of cool. Like, it's the kind of thing that looks visually, it's abstract and expressionist. And so you're like, you know what? That's visually impressive enough that I'd hang that in my home. I'd hang a print of it, right? in a corner somewhere. But now he's doing all this political art, and half of it's like him throwing it in the trash, and it's like, wow, I wish I had made enough money off of the Truman Show to where I could just doodle and then throw it away and tweet pictures of it. Please.
It must be tricky being an actor, because as we both know, they don't get much creative control. That's what an actor is. You're not there to be part of the creative process. Sometimes you are, if you're in a tight knit sort of creative community.
Or if you're Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is pretty much allowed to do whatever he wants.
Really?
Yeah, but he was the last vanguard of the old cowboys in that sense. But what was it? Rose McGowan, what was her big show in the 90s? What was she famous for? Charmed?
Maybe.
That sounds right.
Well, I just have to wonder, because was that a Joss Whedon project? Because if not being in control is what led her to become the Sinead O'Connor without her meds that she has become, I have to wonder if maybe there's not a connection there, and it's on a whole Me Too thing.
Oh yeah,
Might
she was
be
on, yeah,
connected
she was on
with
Charmed.
the cult she was born in.
Yeah, she was on Charmed. Charmed was not a Joss Whedon vehicle, though.
Oh, was it financed by Harvey Weinstein?
Probably. I don't know. Everything else was.
Pretty good chance, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, if there's one thing that the show left me craving more than anything, it's a connection with all death and with but before death, I would like, some kind of satisfying connection between all of the inane shit I'd been fed for years. I would like that. So if the Me Too, Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey moment, maybe she shaved her head long ago. Kevin Spacey thought she was a boy. That story came out, and she's like, well, I'm going to write it for the Huffington Post as as Kevin Gilbinson. I just want some closure is all I want. That's all I'm asking. Rose McGowan, I know you watch this show. I insist upon you DMing me with a personal video explaining what it is that Joss Whedon made Harvey Weinstein do to you.
You're never going to get closure, man. She's an open book.
And it never shuts.
Okay. Anyway. Oof. Way to make me uncomfortable there, Nick. Dangerous Being says, Jeff, it was great seeing you again 2 Thursdays ago. Sad you had to pull early. Yeah, and I went to Sargon's talk up in Portland immediately after the show, the midweek show 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that was the fire alarm one, wasn't it?
Yeah, somebody pulled a fire alarm like right as they were getting started. I arrived when everybody was going back in, so I didn't actually miss anything. But he packed the whole house, and it was a big auditorium. There was like 400 or 500 people there, all just there to see Sargon. It's pretty wild. He almost complained because I got him a shot, because he's not really like a shot drinker. But he didn't turn it down, and he sipped at it. I made him drink some Bullet.
Oh, it's a sipping bourbon anyway. That's fair.
That's what fucking English in it say, hey?
Pretty much, hey, you like cocaine, eh? That would have gotten anyone's attention.
Giovanna Liviana, come on, Mike. I saw Arlo Guthrie in concert once, and he refused to do Alice's Restaurant Massacre because of it being a long song. Wait.
Oh, yeah, you still have to sing a couple bars. Come on. I mean, I know how much you like being put on the spot, and I'm like...
No, I can't even have conversations properly like a normal person. See, I'm already fucking this up. And I'm quite good at talking. You want me to sing for you? I suck at singing. You got to admit, and I'm not saying that in a fucking self-pitying way. It's not my forte. I'm good at riffs. I'm good at lyrics. I don't have the world's sweetest voice.
Though your song at the head of this show was fucking epic.
Yes. It's good.
It pumped the audience up, and I've suggested some shit which is bluesy and really well done, and they're like, yeah, it was nice. I suggested some gypsy punk one time, which I really enjoyed, and lots of other people enjoyed, but it was so divisive that I'm starting to think that perhaps like the tip of the spear and objection to the Article 13 shit ought to be coming out of Romania, because they'd be like, we have exported nothing in the last 30 years except gypsy punk. Now you're going to take that away from us. Go Bordello has been sainted in our country. So
They should be.
they wouldn't hurt. Now we do have one last segment to get to. We're all cleaned up.
Giovanna also said we're not discussing the whole Bay of Pigs thing. And then also Catholic girls, do you know how they go? Catholic girls, there could be no replacement. How do they go after the show? Oh.
Frank Zappa lyrics. I know where that's going.
Gotcha. All right. Yes, go ahead and intro it, Nick. We'll do this.
Well, this week's cringe of the week. I forget? Do we have just the images or the story itself?
I've got the story up.
Right. Throw it up then, because
right.
I'm getting. Hang on, damn it. This is why I set things up ahead of time and I fail. Oh, of course, yes. Sorry, I just forgot if there was a video up to worry about or not. So this is fun. So Rian Johnson, the man who bravely took the reins of the otherwise out of control horse carriage that was Star Wars, has decided he's gonna clap back. He's gonna clap back at those haters who are apparently bullying Rose Tico off of social media, despite the fact that there's been no evidence provided to show this abuse. But let's assume for the time being that it is. Ryan has decided he was going to shit all over the after shitting all over the franchise with The Last Jedi, which was a terrible fucking movie. Is going to now shit all over the fandom by describing anybody who had any criticism about Rose Tico and the character and her actress as whiny man babies. Now in a tweet that came out, he did go as far as even saying that we're fine without you. We're doing just fine. To which he was basically telling a fandom which had existed for, 30 years now? 40?
40. 40
years. A 40-year-long vested fandom. 50. It was 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn near 50, yeah. Yeah, so he decided he was basically going to take a canon, take a story, take a shit all over it to express his artistic, focus group-approved, committee-driven vision for what a Star Wars movie could look like if no one gave a fuck. And in the course of it, one of the biggest complaints is, of course, this character, Rose Tico. Now, Rose is a set-piece character, doesn't really belong in the movie, doesn't do anything throughout the film. I mean, does plenty, but none of it's productive or necessary in any way. And then actually almost kills one of the main characters at the end of the film so she can deliver one of the lamest and most confusing lines of dialogue in history. Now, as an actor, I'll say to the actress who played it, what was her name again?
Her name was Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran. Now, Kelly Marie Tran, if she did endure a whole bunch of harassment and abuse online, I'll be the first to say that sucks. Because honestly, as an actor, booking a role in a Star Wars film, even if it's the worst one ever, ought to be the fucking highlight of your goddamn life. And that was my initial take. But to see what's evolved from this, we have gotten this wellspring. It's almost like when you poke a hole in a fucking waterbed. There's no stopping the flood which comes. And sure as shit, the feminist left decided to jump all over this story saying, hey guys, let's support The Last Jedi to show how supportive we are of Rose Tico in the face of whiny, misogynist man babies. Which ended up resulting in both Mark Hamill, unfortunately, and Rian Johnson just sort of trying to dab on them haters on Twitter there. But in the course of doing so, surprising everyone when The Last Jedi barely sold on Blu-ray or DVD. It's almost like it doesn't work. So, yep, I think, can we call Star Wars dead yet? And I love Star Wars, I really do, but can we call the franchise really dead? Because
Disney's got it now. It'll never die. Disney won't let it die. They have enough money to keep anything alive.
Yeah, I feel like it's an unfortunate reality. You know, Mike's right. Like they're gonna milk it for everything they can. They'll drag it out as much as possible because they have a they have a perfect money-making scheme right now, and they're fully utilizing it with like Marvel. They're gonna do it with Star Wars as well. As long as people are willing to pay money to go to see these movies, even if maybe 1 out of 10, maybe even 1 out of 5 flops, the rest of them that succeed so fucking well internationally that it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. They're just gonna make hand over fucking fist.
And then there's the merchandise.
Yes.
Star Wars has always famously earned most of its money, billions of dollars, in fact, through the merchandise.
Have you heard of porgs? Have either of you heard of porgs?
They're a new thing. They're the new annoying creature from the Star Wars.
They're
universe,
adorable, right? And I can't wait to buy 50 of them for all of my nieces and nephews. And fuck Ryan Johnson.
There you go. Obviously, old curmudgeons like us guys probably aren't going to like Star Wars, but ask the kids. They loved the prequels because they were kids when the prequels came out, and the kids who are kids when these movies came out are still going to love it in 20 years. I mean, the original Star Wars probably wasn't made for drunken old curmudgeons like us. It was made for kids, probably.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever seen The People versus George Lucas?
Yes. Yeah.
It was a really good documentary about like, and this was like pre-Abrams takeover, right? Pre-Disney. And he was going, this documentary was going over the difference between the prequels and the new ones and the hullabaloo about that. And what he pointed out was like, with these prequels, these are aimed at a new generation of Star Wars fans, right? And that was fair. And from that, we got Rebels and we got like this huge fucking canon that evolved afterwards. But in a sense, even though those were nostalgia cash grabs of their own attempt, it wasn't like a fashionable nostalgia cash grab. It was almost in some ways sort of a daring one. It was like, all right, we're going to remaster the originals, re-release them, then we're going to make these new movies, and they'll be their thing, right? And they even responded to the audience so by like, Jar Jar sucked, so they took him out of the movie for the most part. But it said like, yeah, okay, you have to forgive the prequels because this was George Lucas's own vision of a new Star Wars being marketed to a new generation. Okay, fine. This shit though, this is like what happens when you start letting Walmart like sell craft beer, yeah? It's like, okay, maybe you don't like Sam Adams, maybe you don't like Blue Moon, maybe you don't like these brands that try to make themselves look craft and are legally required not to be. But yeah, we're gonna sell you some schlock. It's like, hey, it's Coors Light in a blue can.
I'll put it this way. I didn't hate porgs. I didn't find them annoying at all. I'm one of those people who bitches about Ewoks. I bitch about Ewoks a lot because they're dumb. Porgs, I didn't give a fuck about porgs. But I think Mike's right. It's where it's being marketed to. It's marketed towards kids and that sort of thing. But one of the reasons why this is such a problem. It's not even really a problem. It's our problem. This is the reality of the situation. The problem with Star Wars is actually our problem. It's not actually a problem with Star Wars. The problem is that we're old and we're angry and we're pissy. And like a lot of people are angry and pissy about it too because it's a franchise that they expect way too much out of because it's been blown way out of proportion. Star Wars was never that fucking good. No, hang on. No, I'm serious.
This shit
I'm serious.
Is the problem. This shit is the problem. This Ryan Johnson shit. This Ryan Johnson shit. This clapping back at the haters shit, right? I mean, most of the criticisms of this character rose, right? And I'm sure there were some like fucking dipshit chanter types who are just like gonna be like, hey, watch how offensive I can be, guys. This is gonna be great, right? Well, good for you, retard. But the legitimate criticisms of this character are now being lumped in with this horseshit, the way all legitimate criticisms of every sort of progressive, modern, politically correct fucking movie choices made.
Right.
I mean, and between Ryan Johnson and the way the press has been playing this shit up, it's one of these situations in which, like, if you criticize Rose Tico as a character, you're a misogynist. Go fuck yourself, Ryan. Go fuck yourself with your dumb movie and your shit character.
Think about it like from a marketing perspective, though. I don't think Ryan Johnson or Disney came up with this idea that she was being harassed. I think the fucking media did. I think the media smelled blood that they could find a way to to turn this into like a big fucking you know, progressive message thing, like she's being bullied off of social media, a woman, blah, and they took advantage of it. Like, of course they would. Of course they would. But I mean, like, I can't blame this dumb fuck for anything other than just making a shitty movie. He's just doing what every other celebrity's gonna do in that situation. He's gonna take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah, and he's gonna decide to take a dump on like not only like the entire established audience of the property, which he took over and fucked up, and but he's also going to use it to make some posturing political fucking statement.
Yeah, but everybody does that. Everybody uses the internet to just jack off their political opinions everywhere. That's what the internet's for. That and porn.
Well, Mike, you're a badger. You're a proper MRA. I mean, what's the take on this kerfuffle about Star Wars now? From that perspective?
I'm afraid I haven't got my MRA license, so I'm not an official one.
No, mate, you got a license for them opinions. It's a bit sharp, you know.
You got a license for that advocacy.
Does it have a gear ratio to it? Oh fuck, that's a whole other license, mate.
Yeah, it's just
like you're wielding a lawnmower on your shoulder. It's just like, fuck you, Rose Tico. Which I'm actually okay with. You know, that's going to be the thing when they ban knives in the UK. You're just going to have the hoodlums rolling out into the countryside and stealing the lawnmowers, and then just wielding them upon their shoulders. It's
when they tried to ban knives, you realise that the problem we have with knives is, well, it's not a problem. The situation we have with knives is the same situation America has with guns. You can't take the guns away from Americans. They have too many. There's just too fucking many. There's millions of them. You can't possibly recall them all, and you don't know where the line is between guns that are okay and guns that aren't. Well, it's the same like that with knives in every fucking country, because that's how it works with knives. We need knives to cut up our food, and sometimes we need slightly sharper knives to cut up slightly tougher food. Sometimes we even need butcher knives that are designed specifically to cut through flesh and bone.
And not only that, I mean, you know, once they ban knives in the UK, people are just going to start making bootleg knives in their bathtubs. Yeah. But I mean, we have people in this country.
In prison. They're called shivs. You can just sharpen anything into a point.
Well, that's the point. I mean, like, there's a decent portion of gun-owning Americans who not only know how, but have built guns in their sheds. It takes a pipe, a spring, a pin, and a bolt, and that's it. That's really all you fucking need. As long as you can make a thing snap against a cartridge, you've got a gun. And it's like, well, we banned guns, and that went fantastic. And there's a whole bunch of shootings recently, I suppose. And then it's like, oh, well, we'll ban knives. That'll be fine. Who the fuck remembers how to make a knife? Oh, wow. Why is everyone getting into blacksmithing all of a sudden? Why is there a blacksmithing thing in Luton right now?
The last thing I do want to say though about that Star Wars thing, before we're pretty much done, is it reminds me of the Ghostbusters remake with Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones ended up getting a shit ton of hate for the whole Ghostbusters thing. She got more hate than the other actresses, which really wasn't fair because she was actually the only actress that was any good in that fucking movie.
She was the redeeming part of the cast, I'm told.
Yeah, no, she was. Like, I watched the movie, and it was fucking terrible, but actually Leslie Jones' character was pretty fucking good. Patty was pretty fucking badass, actually. I liked her. It's the only thing I liked about that movie, actually. And, but she got way too much heat. The same thing that she didn't do, the same thing that now this Kelly Matran didn't do. It's very simple. You gotta take the advice of what is it, Tyler the Creator, about cyberbullying. Turn it off. Just turn it off.
Just motherfucker.
Just turn it off, cyberbullying.
Walk away
just close your eyes.
Just close your eyes, man. You know, and you just gotta ignore them, because if you don't take the bait, then they fucking go away. What you don't do is make a big fucking political message about it, because then they're never gonna go away.
And then no one buys your fucking Blu-rays either.
They?
Yeah. I mean, Ghostbusters had the unfortunate millstone rat's neck of being a genuinely and unfortunately and unforgivably terrible movie. and I've seen enough of it. I haven't watched the whole thing, but yeah, Leslie Jones was the most, entertaining thing to the film. Last Jedi, I caught it on the flight out to Kilroy. I caught it on the flight out to Phoenix. Yeah, I sat and watched the Last Jedi for the second time on a flight, and I was like, well, I'm glad that played. There's lightsabers. And there's AT-ATs and AT-STs, and that was fun. I love AT-STs, and Luke Skywalker was there, and
Kylo Ren's swole body.
Kylo Ren's wide-faced, double wide. I got the extension trailer body going on with the pants, like the old man pants that went up to his navel. That was good, I oftentimes bring my pants up to my navel. It's and then I interrogate people psychically. There was shit going on in that movie at least, but then now all of a sudden they can't sell shit because it's like, oh wow, if The Last Jedi wasn't as tainted as it was before by bad screenwriting and terrible character development and terrible plot arcs, now it's also got this horse shit. Oh, let's leave the last word to Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems it's less important to create a good work of art and more important to create something that everyone's going to have an opinion about, because that's what sells. I don't know if it was Confucius that said the wise man knows what is good, the foolish man knows what sells, some shit like that. But yeah, what sells is something that everyone's going to have an opinion about. So if your movie is shitty, then you just need a bit of controversy about misogyny, and boom, everyone's got an opinion about this whole misogyny thing. But there's heated opinions on both sides of the curtain, and some heated opinions from the alt-centrists in the middle.
On that note, we have been your YouTube saints. This episode 62. Thank you for joining us. We have mung-dabbed our way to internet fame. I'm going to leave you with the wise words there of Mike, and reaffirm them by saying Despacito doesn't need a sequel. Huh? We don't need that.
Agreed. Join us on Thursday on our Twitch show. We're going to have Omegon with us. And yeah, otherwise we'll see you again right here next week, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. No matter what, every fucking time. Good night, everybody.
Cloud Atlas was a good movie.
Yeah, it was. That was actually a pretty damn good
I don't
movie.
know these men.
And just want to let everybody know, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Caligator, CALIGATOR, for the post show.